Hey you guys, and welcome to this video. Today we will be talking about thought forms. There are a lot of thought forms circulating around in the collective field now, and there will be for a while. And having awareness of that and also understanding the energy of it and how to meet it is going to help you a lot. So this is the third video on a channeling I did a few weeks ago, and you will find a link to the two first videos in the description box below. And there you will also find links to my website, my social media, and also how to reach out for a personal session if you are interested in that. Now, what I said in this channeling was, and these are the blue beings that I channel, right? So they said, be aware of fear. Again, and we have been through this many times before, right? It's always there, but there are sort of like waves where there's more. And they said there will be sort of like a new wave where we will have a lot of invitations to go into fear. We will see this through the medias, we will see this through social media, we will see it also in the spiritual community. So be aware when there's something that always be in your body, right? Be embodied, because when you are present and you're in your body, you will feel immediately in the meeting with any type of energy what it is and what happens in you. And then you can, if you are present and you are embodied, you actually then can access your own choice, your own free will. Do you want to engage with this or not? Do you want to take that invitation to go into fear, or do you want to not take this in, or just you really access your choice to how you want to relate to it. And what I said is that there are a lot of energies now that are floating around that are not of the highest. That in and of itself, just feel into your body right now when I said that. What kind of feeling did it create in your body? Did it create fear? Because it's so easy to just have that thought even, and that immediate response when we talk about lower or darker energies, which is only another frequency, okay? So this is not about fear. This is about understanding what's actually happening. These energies that are floating around now are, for the most part, actually human thought forms. They are not external lower energies or entities, okay? Now, energetically, we will deal with it in much of the same way anyways. And also it always, right, depends on what perspective we're talking from, because you can also say that this human, that each and every one of us are a thought form that are manifested into the physical. So it always depends on which perspective you choose to talk from, right? But what I said is that what's really important with these thought forms, whenever you meet them or you sort of bump into them, is to accept that they are there. You don't have to agree with them. If we go into resistance, so this relates a lot to what I talked about in the first video on polarities. If we resist that they're actually there, we are actually feeding it with energy. Then we are actually making it have more energy. We are making it more solid. We are helping it to stay in place. Okay, so whatever we resist persists. So accepting that something is there does not mean that you agree with it, but it takes the charge off. It's there. Do I want to engage with it? Do I not want to engage with it? That is my choice, but it's there, and that's okay. Now, what I said is energetically, and this is interesting, walk towards it in your sovereign power. Now, this does not mean that we're going to go into it, but rather this is then compared to being afraid of it, or trying to sort of run the other way, or having resistance to it. If that's the approach we normally have, then it will feel like we're actually moving towards it, because we're actually facing it. As long as we are in our sovereign power, there's no problem. Remember who you are. You are a powerful being in this body. You are light. You are higher consciousness. And so whatever of a thought form that is just circulating, and why is it circulating? This is because the human is clearing a lot of stuff. We are clearing emotions, we are clearing thoughts, we are creating new neural pathways. There's so much happening. There's so much energy coming in from the sun. There's so much energy coming up from the earth. All of this makes it so that everything is happening quicker now. We're clearing and it's happening faster. So everything that we are clearing and thought forms, ways of thinking, being, emotions, all of that is just dropped out to the field in a sense. So this is like making a bit of a simple picture of it, right? And then all of these are floating around. And when there are thought forms that have been held by many, many humans, they have a lot of energy and we can feel them. So whenever you meet one of those energies, if you have the same thought form currently held in you, so let's say this is one specific thought, a self-criticizing thought, okay? And then I have the pattern of criticizing myself, and then I'm walking around on my day, and then suddenly I feel like really, really like this heaviness, and I start criticizing myself a lot, and it's getting more and more and more. And it feels like it's not almost even me. It feels like I know these patterns, but this is more than what I normally do and what I normally am in. Then maybe I have just bumped into my field, walking around, bumping into another energy, a thought form of self-criticism. Bam. And it makes it so that I feel it even more. This is not an external, dark, lower energy or entity. This is a thought form, and because I hold the same thought form, I have the frequency, the vibration of this thought form held within my field, there is an exchange with this thought form when I meet it. Okay? And that makes it so that it can actually come into my field and exchange the energy, and therefore I will feel it even more in my body, in my thoughts, in my experience. Now, if I know that this is what is happening, I can use this experience as a gift. I can be aware and I can listen, I can observe my thoughts, and I can say, hi, this is not really what I choose or want to choose to think. This is not feeling like me. This is actually just really underlining a pattern that I need to change, and use that light, because you just became aware of a pattern even deeper, and you could see, because it got really like blown out of proportions, and you can see then that this is something I don't want to hold anymore, and you can see even more clearly how destructive that pattern is for you. And you can remember that, hey, this is not me, I'm just engaging with some thought form. I'm coming back to my sovereign field and coming back into my body. No, thank you. I don't accept those thoughts. I don't accept that pattern. This is not who I am. And then we can come back to ourselves, and we can balance our own being. This is super, super helpful. So whenever you have an experience of engaging with something, whether, obviously normally this happens without us being aware of it in the moment, but then when it happens and the energetic engagement happens, we will experience it. And then in that moment, if we are observing it and we are present in our bodies, we can actually feel it, and we can stop that engagement really, really quickly. And we can also use that as a chance to let go of that thought form that we are holding ourselves as well. Now, the more the human is afraid of this and feels powerless, the more it will actually slow down the forward movement of the human, they said in this channeling, until they let go of this thought form. Because as there are more and more thought forms that are floating around that people are letting go of, if I choose not to let go of my own thought forms and choose not to use these experiences as gifts for me to change for me to create new patterns, for me to let go of those thoughts that are not of my highest anymore, because it's just showing me what is not of my highest. If I'm not making that choice, it will slow down my forward movement. I will still be moving forward, but if we do actively, consciously take this process and make those choices, it will happen more quickly. Let me just check my notes. Yes, the other thing is that these thought forms that you are encountering are, because these are floating around everywhere, right? And many of them we won't even notice, most of them, because they are not matching anything in us. There's nowhere to sort of hook in for them. There's no vibrational match. Now, when we are actually experiencing that engagement, it's either, like I said, that we have thought forms and a vibration currently in the body that is matched to it, or the other thing is that there can be a thought form that we have a lot of resistance towards, and that resistance draws it back into us. So this comes back really to what I talked about in the first video on this channeling, which is polarity. Because we are really being asked now to be able to hold polarities. Can you hold both? Can you hold that there are amazing thought forms? Can you hold that there are thought forms that are not really conducive to your development? Can you accept that it's there? You don't have to agree with it. Can you accept that you are currently residing in a field of polarities? Polarity is something that we experience here. Because when we release that resistance and we can hold both sides of the coin, both extremes of the polarity on the spectrum, then we will feel much more centered. Then we won't be running away from something and running towards something else and having the fear, because the fear is what makes us come out of the body. It's what makes us feeling less empowered. And we want to be sovereign. We are sovereign, and we want to remember that we are sovereign beings, that we are empowered, that we are safe to be in this body, that you are actually inhabiting this body in your power. And you have a choice with whatever you meet, and also in how you engage with, whether it's a human, an animal, a plant, an energy, a thought form. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Please share along if it was. And thank you to everyone who is subscribing, who is liking my videos and commenting. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I do love my work, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you. Bye-bye.